time of the week. It's Thursday,
Which
baby.
means it's time for what then?
Straight Talk Podcast with Fella and Rev. I am, of course, your co-host, Fella on a car phone. Next to me is Rev Ro. How you doing today, Mr. Rev?
Rev is good, man. Rev is good.
That's great. That's good.
How about yourself, fella? How you living?
Feeling good, feeling great.
Okay.
Feeling great, feeling good. How about you?
Hey, man. It's my favorite day of the week.
Yes, sir.
I'm good.
Because it is time. But, of course, you know we got to start it off.
Go ahead and start it off.
Like we've been starting off. Still, we ain't really even heard much news. Attorney General of Kentucky, we still waiting on you to do something about Breonna Taylor. Say her name. We haven't heard anything. What's going on? I haven't necessarily been trying to look into it. So I guess that's partially maybe on me about not hearing anything. But I know I would find the news out if, you know, they made their arrest like they should have been made.
Should be doing. You'd hear about it.
I know about that, so I know that ain't happened. So we're gonna need you to, you know, what's going on? Make those arrests because they're murderers and they just running free. They on administrative leave or whatever it's called. And that's crazy.
Something I was looking at, I want to say that was last week. They were saying there was some falsified info with the whole arrangement of how things went down or the story of how things went down. It ain't necessarily how it went down. So we definitely need to do something about that because at this point, not only were we lying about a murder, but we're also still shielding these murderers from the consequences in which they should be facing. And that goes for all of the murderers that have been killing people. And I'll say black or white because it's some people that always want to make the argument cops kill innocent people, period. They should all be arrested. You shouldn't be just mad that people are mad about the black folks. Y'all should be mad about the white ones too.
Yeah, they should be mad about that. And that's the problem. They not.
Y'all just like, oh, well, it happens.
And that's
why is that okay?
And that's why, just real quick, I'm going to touch on this whole defund the police thing.
Do it.
We're not saying defund the police. We're not saying get rid of the police. That's not what they mean by defund the police. They just mean to redistribute the resources to take care of certain situations. Like, for instance, the guy in Rochester, New York, who was having a mental episode. Mm-hmm. They called the police. The police ended up putting a sweat bag over him and killing him. In a mental episode, a person the police should not be called on somebody having a mental episode. Or, for instance, another instance, people always calling the police on homeless people.
Yeah. That's
not a situation where police need to be called. And sometimes those are situations where an innocent person, black or white, or Mexican, white, yellow, whatever, are killed. That's what we mean by defund the police. We're not saying get rid of the police. Obviously, we need police officers. Right. And obviously, there are plenty of good police officers.
But there are certain things that we can allocate different types of resources to find the fix for.
That's what we mean by
the college degree word.
Allocate. Yeah.
We can find different resources to, use for those type of scenarios instead of always hitting that 911.
And defund is probably not the best word, but that's just
because it has such a heavy connotation. Of
that's the kind of the word that they took and ran with, and now they just keep saying it and keep saying it and keep saying it. It's not really defund. It's really just reallocate, like you said, reallocate the funds and the resources that the police that are going to the police, like militarization, stuff like that, where it's not necessarily 100% necessary for the police officer to have a rifle, AR, whatever, all this gear that they get. Right. I'm sure they have a ball in. That's not what we mean by defund the police. And honestly, they should probably change the word to reallocate resources. But you know how the media does. If they got something, they're just going to keep that and hang on to it so they can make it twisted in their own little way.
Right.
And that's what's going on. So that's what we mean by defund the police. So that was kind of a side note. I just thought about that while we was talking about Breonna Taylor, but still.
And one more thing I just wanted to throw out there real quick because I've been seeing it a lot on social media where there's been things like, oh, here's this alleged rapist or this or that. And then there are people saying, oh, well, you can't call the cops because then if they kill him, he was innocent, he didn't. And like now you're trying to twist narratives and make it seem like, no. Like, first of all, you shouldn't be killing anybody regardless of the crime. We have a right to due process, a whole judicial system, all of that. Yep. So, regardless, like, nobody's making excuses for people that are actually committing crimes, but you should never just be taking somebody's life off of. Anyway, look, let's get into the show, man. They wasn't ready for CNN. They wasn't ready for Fella and Red to, you know what I'm saying?
You got to do that to them sometimes. Get their attention.
You know what I'm saying?
But we're going to get to the show, and you know how we start the show always. If you've been here with us before, you know we always started with question of the day, okay? Question of the day is my segment where I like to ask Rev a question that has to do with basically anything and everything, and I get to grade him on that answer, okay? And he will give a grade. I don't know if you've been to school or if you've been to college or anything, but if you write a paper, same thing with this one. The answer, my grade is subjective to my opinion. So that means you cannot get mad. Please don't be upset with my answer, because these grades are subjective to me, which means I can give him a Z if I wanted to. There's nothing you can do about it. So there's nothing he can do about it.
Let the record reflect that since our return, I'm probably like a 3.0, 3.5 average.
Yeah, you've been doing pretty good. You've been doing pretty good.
He ain't been hating this year.
I'm not never a hater. Like some of the people in our group chat. Bruce. All right,
you, buddy.
Okay.
What you got?
Question of the day is trying to think of a question. Now, question of the day is, who is, and this is a topic again that we're going to talk about a little bit, so just touch on it. We're going to talk about it a little bit later in the show. Who is probably, if you are a owner or a GM of a franchise, who is your top coach, head coach candidate? Who are you looking at the most? Is there, and then maybe give us a sleeper one, and somebody that we would might not be thinking about off top, because you know there's a couple top candidates that most people throw out there in the carousel pretty often. So what is one that maybe you thinking about? Can you come up with one on the spot?
Mike Brown. No.
Mike Brown.
See, I'd love to say Pop, just because of proven success. It doesn't matter who's been on his team. He clearly has a system that makes it work. But the thing about Pop is that's like an untouchable guy. You're not really going to get him. Yeah. So I can't really go with that answer as much as I love the answer and it makes sense. We got a live studio audience this week. You have to forgive us for looking shook because we ain't know that door was open. But yeah, as much as I think it's a great answer and it would make sense, you just can't, pick Pop. So if I'm looking at really good coaches, it'll be on the top of my list. I think there's so many guys that ain't leaving. Like I want to say Spoelstra too, but he ain't walking away from Miami. Okay, all right. Coaches that are just available, people that's already.
Yeah. No, it can't be a coach that's already got a job. It's got to be somebody
that's available, that's out there.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody that's out there and that's available. I would definitely give a nod to. I would give Tyronn Lue a nod. Okay. I feel like he is a better coach than people give credit for. Whenever you coach LeBron's team, people are never going to say that you're the coach. LeBron could have Greg Popovich and people would act like LeBron's the one drawing up the plays. I think Tyronn Lue is probably a much better coach than he's given credit for. And I feel like given the right situation. And
even with Cleveland, I mean to cut you off, but even with Cleveland, I feel like he had a much more reins on the team.
Yeah.
Then one, people would let believe, and then two, what people would give credit.
Yeah,
to
for sure. He actually had a voice on our team,
even over LeBron.
I think there were documented times where LeBron was trying to do something, and Tyronn was basically like, "No, this is the play."
Yeah.
So, and not every coach gets to do that, especially with LeBron on their team. So I would give Tyronn Lue a look. I feel like with the right situation where it's not under constant scrutiny or anything like that. If you just give him the opportunity to coach and let it see where it goes, I think Tyronn Lue could actually shock some people. Aside from him, obviously I want to say Mark, but I genuinely believe Mark Jackson has been blackballed by the NBA, and that's why I feel like his name does not come up in realistic hiring situations.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, at this point it's been, 6 years? 5 years since he's had a coaching job?
2014, 6 years.
Yeah, so at this point, it's not that he can't get a job or people aren't looking. It's that he has to be blackballed or something because there's a reason why he's not getting a fair shot.
Well, you know
so
why.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, you know why. So that's why I'm just not gonna go with Mark as much as I'd love to see him in a coaching position. So I'll give it to Ty Lue.
Okay, I like that answer. I'm gonna give you a A. I almost gave you a B.
I just want to say, I want to stick it to the producer who said, I bet he won't get an A this week. Look at me now. Look at me now. We keeping it rolling, baby. Hey.
She made a guess. I thought she was going to say something, but I'm giving you an A, and the main reason I'm giving you an A is because I didn't preface you with that question. You didn't know what the question was. I definitely came up with that on the spot.
You did.
So the fact that you were able to come up, and you also gave a pretty good answer, I give you an A. If that was something I gave you, and I told you I was gonna ask that question, I would have graded you a little more.
Just saying hi to my haters.
Yeah, I would grade you a little more, a little tougher.
Okay,
that's all.
I appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I see Mount was talking about getting to notification when these start. I think you can
get post notifications.
I think you can get post notifications from my page if you subscribe. But we would probably prefer if you just subscribe to the YouTube channel. Yeah.
It's the easiest way because you just subscribe, hit that bell.
Yeah, because eventually I think
live, you get that.
Honestly, we only do Facebook just because we know people will see it a little easier than just sending in a bunch of people to our YouTube link. So that's kind of what we do Facebook now. Facebook may not be long term.
Yeah,
it might be. We might just be doing mostly YouTube.
Eventually, we'd like to make the jump, but
yeah,
with Facebook, you already got an extensive friends list most of the time, so people are gonna see it. It brings a couple people in right away.
Yeah,
and
like
we're still trying to get people into the YouTube.
Yeah, like you, cousin Mount. You know what I'm saying? So that's why we do that. But let's go ahead, keep it moving with the show. Appreciate
we're gonna revisit that coach talk. We're gonna revisit that.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about. We're coming back to that for sure. But we're gonna start off again with the WNBA, and I hope you were able to catch some WNBA. I finally was able to catch some WNBA last night. I didn't watch the Clippers Nuggets game as much. I was going back and forth.
It wasn't really worth your time.
Yeah,
I didn't even really watch it either. But
it was kind of getting away from the Nuggets early on. They brought it back close. But anyway, neither here nor there. WNBA talk. So this is the last week for the regular season WNBA. It ends on Sunday. And there's only one spot available for the playoffs right now. And
it's kind of close.
The Dallas Wings are in that spot. The only two other teams that have a chance of getting that spot is
Mystics
and the Dream.
Yeah.
And the Dream, I know, was able to get a dub yesterday. And they looks like to be about a game out.
Yeah.
2 games out, maybe.
2 games, yeah. Because they got one more loss.
Yep, 2 games, and then the Dream is a half a game out.
So just so we're clear, Dallas Wings 7-13, right?
Yep.
The Atlanta Dream are 6-14. So right in the middle of the pack, you got the Washington Mystics at 6-13. So they like that half a game. They can win. Hopefully, the Wings lose a game and they're good.
Yeah, but the
Wings,
the
Dream are gonna have to really pull it out.
The Wings is the game that I saw yesterday. And they lost to the Seattle Storm. And really, Seattle Storm is just grinding them. Yeah. Like, they got Brianna Stewart, but they also got Sue Bird. And they also got the girl Howard, who won Defensive Player of the Year last year. So, and she was also balling on the offensive side. So, I was like, man, they just come at you for so many different ways. And then, obviously, you got Brianna Stewart, who's just a bucket.
She hit a half-court shot yesterday.
Yeah.
It's just you can't do nothing.
But it was a good game, and it was a good game because it was against the team that's in the AFC now.
Yeah.
Dallas Wings. And they might not be a good team now. Like, their record is below 500, but for the future,
they got the pieces.
They got some pieces, boy. Yeah. And they got some really good pieces because not only do they have Enrique, they got this girl, Ty Harris, who was like the starter at South Carolina. They got I can't forget. It was somebody else. I can't think of her name. But they also got her name is Satu Sabali. Okay? And the only reason a lot of people don't know about her is because of Sabrina.
Right.
They both played at Oregon. But she was hooping yesterday. And I watched one game and I was like, yeah, she might be better. She might be better than Enrique, honestly. Because she was point guarding it sometimes.
Really?
She was on kind of like how D Miles used to do, get the rebound coast to coast. She was on that flow. I was like, okay. And she had a 3.
Okay.
So watch out for the Dallas Wings.
I didn't really catch any of the games last night. Like, I caught the back end of that double OT that we're gonna talk about later with the Celtics, and I saw like the very, very end of the Clippers game because I just wasn't at home, so I was missing the games. But I did get to catch up on some of the highlights. You know, my Phoenix Mercury, they got a little dub yesterday.
Yeah, that was cool.
The thing I like about the Mercury, man, you never know who gonna hoop.
Yeah.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago, and her name is escaping me, but she off the bench. Again, I was just talking about her last week.
Yeah.
But she came off the bench.
We gotta get these names now.
Yeah, and last night Skylar Diggins was the one. She had
Bria Hartley.
Thank you. I think Bria Hartley was the one that just got injured. I think that's why I was talking about her last week. She did just get injured.
Yeah.
But she was hooping. You know Diana Taurasi, the GOAT. Mm-hmm. So she gonna hoop. You got Brittany Griner. Skylar Diggins is on that team too, and you know she cold. Don't forget that.
Oh my God.
So last night she was the one that was leading the pack. She was going crazy. So I like that they just got so many weapons. I told you, Phoenix Mercury, man, they getting the trophy this year. That's all I do know.
I don't know, man. Them aces are tough, bro.
You know the Aces and the Storm, I think, play this Saturday.
They do. Yeah. They're talking about it's going to be. I think with the Storm, they're up 2 games.
Yeah.
Right now, so I think the Storm will have to lose one, and then the Aces will have to win one, and then it'll be like a showdown to see who can get that number 1 seed, which would be dope. Because I think that Aces have a better head-to-head record against them.
Yeah.
So that would be dope. That would be dope.
I'm gonna make sure I devote the time to watch.
Yeah, we got.
If I can't see the whole game, I want to watch at least the first half. I want to see that.
I might be at work, but if I'm not,
hey man, you got the NBA. We can watch the streams on the low end.
Yeah. Yeah, what you talking about? On the low end. What you talking about?
Silent.
We watch the streams.
Yeah, we watch them on ESPN, of course.
Yeah.
Paid TV programming only. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I really want to see that showdown.
That would be a good game, and hopefully if we can get, if they can get it right, not get it right, but get it to where they can, whoever wins gets the number 1 seed.
That would be.
But it would be an interesting playoff series.
So how are they gonna do that? What kind of like the play-in for the 8th seed, but just?
Yeah, it's a play. So you talking about for the playoffs?
No, to determine the 1 seed. Like how are they gonna?
No, that's the last game of the regular season.
Right.
And whoever, if they Storm loses one,
right,
and it brings their record down, it would be whoever they would have a better record.
I see what you're saying.
To get the number 1 seed.
That would be kind of crazy if you had to figure.
No.
That would be tough.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, we just wanted to shine some light real quick on the W.
Yep.
Because there was some good games that went on yesterday. Although I didn't get to watch them, I got to see enough of the highlights. Mm-hmm. Rihanna wasn't the only one to hit that half court. Skylar pulled up, hit it.
That was pretty cool.
And walked back. You know what I'm saying?
Like
she had to keep it up. She had to keep it up.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I watched the Storm and Wings game yesterday, and at first I was like, I might have to chug my way through this. I'm forcing myself. But then I was watching. I was like, hey. They hooping like if you really just sit down and watch, it's actually entertaining. And even like I said before, going to the STLCC games where they have like the tournaments, community college,
right?
The women's games was actually more entertaining than the men's games.
It's usually
you just got to sit there and watch it, and then once you start watching and get because I kind of like to get a little bit of a rooting for somebody. Once you start rooting for somebody, and it's just like, okay, you can watch it. And then the way Arike was getting buckets yesterday in the first half, because she got locked down in the second, they couldn't guard her. And she do this little dribble between the legs, and I was like, oh my God, she's killing the crossover to the lane. I'm like,
I'm telling you. And I'll tell you again, if you drown out the noise and just watch the game,
man, it was
some
exciting.
of the WNBA games are some of the most entertaining basketball games you'll watch.
Yeah.
As somebody that used to color commentate for women's games at college, some of the best games I watched were the women's games. Yeah. And we had some ballers.
Yeah.
The men were fun to watch. I'm not going to say they weren't. But, man, like, watching these ladies every other night and the way they played and knowing their games, like, to me, that was the best basketball.
It was fun. So, yeah, I'm going to...
start supporting the W.
Yes, we're going to watch... we're going to try to watch that Aces Storm game. Regardless if it's a showdown, I'm going to definitely try to catch it this weekend. But it's that time to start talking about the men in the NBA playoffs. And first thing we got to talk about, obviously, is the game last night. Wow.
See, you better than me, because the first thing that went to my head was to be petty. So the first thing I was going to do was talk to Bud. But we'll get back to it.
Oh, yeah.
We can talk about the game last night. We'll get back to you.
We don't even know if he's watching. But if he is, we're gonna shout you out, Bud, because
I told you.
You a little salty right now.
I told you. Hey.
But, man, that game last night was crazy. And I was I was on the edge of my seat. I'm glad that wasn't the game that was competing against the WNBA. I'd be like, oh, it's a rough one.
I gotta see this.
I gotta see this.
2 screens.
Yeah,
you gotta be at Buffalo Wild Wings or something, so you can watch them both out of one eye.
I don't even. They probably won't even show it. The WNBA Buffalo Wild Wings. You know how they be doing.
We gonna call some. They be playing
Plus
stupid
they
stuff
nasty.
on the TV.
Buffalo Wild Wings nasty.
It's a whole nother story. You're not wrong. But man, that double OT game.
Oh man, so
I caught it at the start, at the end of the first overtime. Because I wanted to catch it just to see, because like I said, I was out and about, but I was like, nah, I got to see it. They going to OT.
All I'm saying is Celtics got hold. Because at the end of the fourth quarter, Kemba, even though he hadn't had a good game, he made one shot. He hit him with a cardiac Kemba step back. That was the second shot that he made the entire game. So he was okay. He drove to the basket. Obvious foul on the hand. They did not call it. They fouled the hell out of him.
Jalen Kelly said disappointment. Boston should have won.
They should have won. They really should have won because he got fouled. It was 0.9 seconds left after that. He drove, got fouled. That was the end of the game right there. They got hold a little bit, but you still gotta play through it. They still had opportunities.
You never leave the game in the referee's hands. So,
even Mark Jackson.
You handle your job a little better.
Even I know you couldn't catch it, but even Mark Jackson was saying like at the end of the game that he was glad it went to overtime. Or it might have been the first overtime, or it was one of the end of the sessions. And he was like, he's glad that it continued because the refs kind of did try to take it into their own games, and they had a couple calls. It wasn't that. It was. I think it was the end of the fourth quarter, so maybe that was the end of overtime or something like that.
Well, and then there was the play. Jason Tatum had that mental lapse where he tried to dart it to Nick Nurse, who really shouldn't have been over there.
He was on the court.
Yeah.
They should have called it a tech.
He was Nick, you was a little out of pocket.
But I like Jason Tatum's take on it when he was like, it's not really his fault. I still made him miss. He owned up to that. In some ways it is, but also he did have a green shirt on, a green jersey.
Man's just wearing a gray polo.
He kind of panicked. He still panicked. Yeah. He shouldn't have been right there, yes, but I mean, coaches stay right there all the time.
Not to make the bad pass.
Right. But that's it. Rockets storm back from 103. Hold on, we didn't even pull the game up. Hold up. Let's see what's going on with the game. Sorry, we a little distracted.
It said 63-91. I said, huh? That was from last night.
It said they stormed back.
Game.
Somebody put the Rockets score in the chat for us. You know, we got to do this in the middle.
Kyle Lowry cries so much. Okay, but listen, Jalen, I get that Kyle Lowry does flop and he does this and does that.
Okay, so they can't. Oh, it's not too bad.
This game's
over. This game's over.
How much time was
the game has been going on this
I thought that was the second game.
That's the first game.
Anyway, Jalen Kelly, you have Marcus Smart on your team, who's just as big of a crybaby. Like, he flops just as much as Kyle Lowry. He does all of the same stuff. So, I mean, I get it, but you can't really complain about Kyle when you have somebody on your team that flops equally.
Kyle Lowry's frustrating to watch.
He's a hooper, and I don't know why y'all hate him. So
he earned my respect yesterday. And he always had my respect, but it was just last year with them beating the Warriors. I kind of started to not like him because he was getting on my nerves. And then but before then, like last year was the first year he was able to perform in the playoffs. Right. Let's be real. So the fact that he did perform and it just happened at my expense, it was frustrating. Yeah. And then kind of this year,
like me talking about LeBron.
He's doing okay. Yeah, but no, he earned my respect because he was hitting big shots. That one turnaround that he hit over
that fader with all
Kemba,
types of good defense.
That was good. That was a crazy shot, and it was like, there's nothing you can do. That was great defense. He just hit a better offense, and if had he missed that shot, they probably lose. So that, and then the other thing I gotta say is, this game's over. You need to stop watching it. We're gonna take it off.
It's not even. It's not worth it.
The other thing I want to say, I don't care what you got to say, all the Celtics fans, I know we from St. Louis. Jason Tatum has got to be better down the stretch. He wasn't choking, but he was selling for sure. He was definitely selling. At the end of the fourth quarter, he had a couple turnovers and a couple, he wasn't hitting at the end of the fourth quarter. He only hit the one. Only shots that he hit down the stretch were the two or the one at the end where they was already down by 4 and they really basically didn't have a shot at winning. That was the only shot that he hit in the fourth quarter. In the 2 overtimes, I feel like he might have hit one other one. But that 3 that he hit when basically the game was over, and a couple more before then, he just got to be better. And I know I rep him. I'm not hating on him or anything.
Right.
He's got to be better than what he was. Especially tomorrow, he's got to be great.
I mean, Cuzzo said he tired of carrying 4 other dudes. And I kind of feel that.
No, Jaylen Brown was hooping.
But Jaylen Brown, last night, he was in foul trouble too, wasn't he? Going down the stretch. So
I mean, that was all tired. Let's not put it there.
Not just
the
fatigue,
tired.
though, but being in foul trouble too. I mean, especially as Jaylen considers it, the refs blow the whistle. First of all, Kyle Lowry got elbowed in the chin. He definitely flopped a little bit, but he got elbowed and
that was
actually
BS.
cut.
We talking about the tech?
Nah.
What you talking about?
They didn't call that at all.
Yeah, they called a tech on one of the calls. Jason Tatum was driving to the lane. They called a little tech. It was weak.
It wasn't that one. Like Kyle Lowry literally got hit in the chin, and I think there was actually a gash.
But he didn't get Sweet Chan music though.
Hey, Siakam ain't been playing good, so he had to.
I mean, I don't want to hear none of that. I want to hear nothing.
Did they actually call that? Because I missed that game. What did they do?
I didn't watch that game either.
The fact that he full-fledged just kicked this man in the neck, though, I'm not going to say.
Let's see what some of the comments say. We got the comments going a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. Let's see. Jalen said he flops, but if you swipe it free on Toronto, they want to review it.
Yeah. Toronto reviewed what, 2 plays? You get 1 during the regular game, and then you get 1 in OT.
I mean, I'm not. The refs,
and the reviews worked in their favor. They used them for what they should be used for.
Celtics fans was mad at the refs yesterday. They wasn't doing horrible. They were doing okay. And then he also said Jalen Kelly, he passed on passed the ball. He shouldn't have passed the ball, take the shot. That's the one I said he was selling yesterday.
Yeah.
He had the dang ball and he decided he wanted to drive and he got ripped. That was what pissed me off. Because I was like, bro, you wide open. And then it was the same shot that he hit. What you mad?
I don't know why our producer gets joy out of watching my team lose. Like, it's my job to commentate.
Shout out Dario.
It's my job to talk about when your team loses. I don't get joy out of it. I just have to speak on it. That's my job. Team. But you, on the other hand, get joy out of watching my team lose. And let the record show, I said from the beginning I never expected them to win this series.
What's the series?
Fine.
Is it 2-1?
It's 3-1.
It's finna be 3-1?
It's 3-1.
Oh, the series is finna be over? Oh, they already lost.
No, this is the 3rd victory for the Lakers tonight.
Okay. Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yes, this was game 4. Rockets in 7. No. Anyway, no, but I think it was a fun game. It was funny because I was watching it in the car, and Norman Powell drove in. I thought he was going to pass it off because they had a 2-on-1 break, and he just went up with it, and it was an and one. I screamed probably louder than I ever thought I would. I got very excited. I almost wore a Raptors jersey today, but I'm going to wait until they win Game 7 so that I can really talk my stuff.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, bring that shirt in and they lose.
They go Raptors in 7. I said it 3 weeks ago. I'm standing on it to this day.
I said Clippers. All right, Clippers. Celtics in 7.
While we're talking about the Clippers, we might as well move on to the other playoff series because Nuggets, I have faith. They're down 3-1 as well.
Gotta hit it with the Trump face.
I don't understand. First of all, I'll never get over Kawhi blocked that shot with his middle finger. We're not gonna talk too much about it because
I haven't really watched this series at all.
I just haven't really cared to. Paul George figured out how to play basketball again, which means it's not going to be fun. So, because they're actually going to win.
I said that in the last
But if you're Jamal Murray, why did you try to dunk on Kawhi Leonard? That's the only thing I still want to know.
Man, he almost had him. He was a finger away.
It was almost his whole hand.
Biggest finger in the
and
NBA.
then Kawhi started falling, and then he caught the finger. But either way, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
I caught myself on that one.
Yeah, that's why I said I didn't want to go into detail too much because I knew you was going to say something questionable. Ladies and gentlemen, look out on Twitter for our new segment, Words Are Hard, in which we go over highlights of Josh saying questionable things or just fumbling words. I'm going to get some in there.
I had one already this show.
Yeah, you have. So those are going to be uploaded as well. But so far, it's only Josh. I'm going to look back at the clips. I'm going to get some of me too. I'm an equal opportunity person. But he be tripping. Like, I would love to get dunked on by Russell Westbrook. Why was he so excited about that?
I still stand on that. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's like you. Okay, I'm not even gonna.
Yeah, please don't. So anyway, yeah, I just haven't really been caring too much about the series. I've abandoned faith in the Nuggets.
But we like you said, we wanted to talk about what our boy from Columbia, Missouri,
MPJ,
Michael Porter Jr. said last night.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, was he questioning his head coach? They kind of got it. They got a little
Jalen
thing.
Kelly thinks that Giannis's best deal is going to Golden State.
Yeah,
or
they
the
got
Clippers.
a little song. Who started this conversation in the chat?
First of all, let me just clear this up because I've been seeing this get misconstrued a lot. Giannis is not a free agent this year. It's next year. The only way Giannis is going anywhere this year is if he declines that contract over the offseason. Then at that point, Milwaukee's 9 times out of 10, I'd say they trade.
So you saying he's got an option in the offseason?
They can try to extend him. If he doesn't sign that extension, it's similar to the Kawhi situation.
Okay.
Once Kawhi denied that extension, they were like, oh, yeah, okay, we got to figure out where to send him.
Oh, okay. So he's still signed through next year. It's not a player option where he can opt out.
Right. He's still in.
Yeah.
His contract isn't over till 2021, but they trying to sign an extension this
summer.
summer.
You do the Supermax this summer, this offseason.
Right. So if he declines that,
then it's like, okay.
Then that means he can walk in 2021, so they're probably going to trade him.
Oh, okay. So the Supermax, you can only sign that the year before your last season? Or can you sign that
You can sign that off of a contract as well.
Okay.
But I mean, I highly doubt he stays. If he declines that contract, I doubt it.
You don't think he stays?
No.
That's how, and Jalen, that's where the most money will be is the super contract. So technically, the best deal is not.
No, because you do have to sign the.
Because the Supermax, you get like $40 million a year for 5 years.
But. Go ahead and step in, Cameron. Our live studio audience has some input, but because I was reading about it earlier. But because it was frustrating me how many people are thinking that he's a free agent this year. Oh, he lost Miami, he's out of there. No, he's not. But until he refuses to sign the extension, only then will he probably be traded elsewhere. In which case, Golden State could get him because they probably got the assets to make it happen.
They know. I think most people know he can't sign this offseason. But
a lot of
everybody's talking. Yeah, I mean something.
Yeah, they're talking about it as if it's a foregone conclusion.
Like Mount said, he knows.
Yeah.
But he thinks, like you're saying, if he doesn't sign that Supermax this offseason, there's a good chance that they're going to try to trade him. But my thing is, he kind of said,
right, as Cameron is saying,
I think
you can get a decent. Hold on. All he does is drive. He gets double teamed. He has the two best shooters in the NBA. Oh, okay, you're saying if he went to Golden State. Okay, because I'm like, who? Chris Middleton and Kyle Korver? I see what you're saying, though. Listen, we talked about this last week. From a basketball perspective, it kind of would be fun to watch how he played alongside Steph. Just, in an ideal world, you can watch them play a couple pickup games. But I really don't want to see him with that team.
It would be Kobe
long
and Shaq.
term. That's what he needs.
He wouldn't be. I'm not comparing Steph to Kobe, but it would be.
Or Giannis to Shaq.
No, I compare Giannis to Shaq.
I don't think Shaq would have went out sad like Giannis has the last 2 years in the playoffs.
I mean, he did. Well, no, he made it to the finals. In Orlando.
Okay. But Shaq did also have Penny.
Right.
Giannis doesn't have anybody close. But anyway, that Denver series is over. But Michael Porter Jr. feels as though our game is too predictable. A team like the Clippers, right? You got to look at them top to bottom. Say Kawhi or PG does have a bad game. Reggie Jackson can step up. Lou Will can step up. Marcus Morris can step up.
I think it's about time to start looking forward to the conference finals.
Yeah, it's time to move on.
Especially with
it's
the
unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But so they got multiple options. Denver down the stretch always likes to run the 2-man game with Jamal and Jokic. So Michael Porter Jr. yesterday, they asked, what did they do to make you less effective? He basically said Mike Malone made me less effective because I wasn't touching the ball. I think he had 15 in the first half. He was keeping them in that game a little bit.
My thing is, they knew he was going to say something stupid because he only scored 15 points. So, I mean, the media requests the players to come to speak with them. They have to request. So, they knew. I guess they just knew he was going to say something stupid.
They probably, you got to think about it
this way. What other reason would they, I guess he had 15 in the first half. I guess. But, there's plenty of players that have 15 in the first half, and the media don't want to talk to him. They must have knew he was going to say something stupid.
I think he's going to say something questionable because he's a rookie, because he clearly has a whole bunch of potential, and he shows it when he gets the opportunity. But then when you give him, go for it. Do whatever you want.
But
and
he
then
can't
you pull
play
it.
defense.
Of course. Exactly. That's what you got to give up when you got a young player. But you see what he can do whenever you give him the green light. And then when all of a sudden you take the green light fully away second half, you're like, oh, yeah, he going to be pissed off. We got to ask him how I feel about this.
They must have known. Cause
so,
I mean, he definitely should have got more touches.
Yeah.
Because he was, especially if he was on the floor. So, like, that means you sacrificing his defense and still not giving him the ball on offense. That don't make sense. He has a point.
Because they were asking, do you need to maybe cut more, and he was like, it's literally up to the play calls. Because that is how Denver play. If you watch Denver Nuggets basketball, that's exactly how they play. Every fourth quarter, it's the Jokic and Jamal show. And at some point, it's going to be a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't just run the two-man game against a team like the Clippers. Yeah. You got to get other people involved. And that was his point, but it's the way he did it.
He's making a good point, but you just don't say that once you go down 3-1.
Yeah.
In a conference to the entire world, for the entire world to, use that clip. I didn't even watch the whole clip. I didn't even watch the clip. I just saw the headline saying what he said because I don't really care what he has to say.
Cam said he salty because he was 14th. Jalen said the Clippers could have drafted him.
A lot of teams could have drafted him.
I think a lot of people look at him and Bobo and the short spurts that they've seen and went, man, we should have taken him.
I thought we were past Bobo. He's not playing for a reason.
He's not playing because he's young. The only reason Michael Porter started getting touches.
You know what I said?
What?
About my Warriors rookies.
Anyway, we're focusing on things that matter. We're focusing on things that matter.
Shout out to you, Eric Pascal.
Where are the Warriors at?
I think you just as good, if not better.
Where are the Warriors at right now?
That's okay.
At home. So we're not talking about the Warriors. We'll talk about them next year, okay?
Yeah, I gotta bring them up. Just like I gotta bring out the Cardinals. Shout out the Cardinals.
Thank you, Cameron. Let me refocus. We're talking about playoff teams right now. We're not talking about lottery teams.
Okay.
So moving on from that series, my Rockets stink. But it's okay. I was ready for this failure and disappointment.
That series just went 3-1. Is that the second game? Nobody else plays tonight. That's the only game tonight, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking about. Maybe that's why that was so early. Oh, yeah, because that was the next thing I was going to bring up. So, Boog.
Hey, Boog.
We're going to post a clip later so y'all can all be reminded.
Yeah.
We both agreed.
We both said Heat in 5.
In 5. You said in 5, and I was like, man, I was just going to say that.
Shout out to you for that. Got that correct.
Heat in 5. That's one of the first times we've been on the same page.
And I knew it just because, the Bucks, they just ain't got nobody.
I told y'all. And what did I say at the beginning, right? They hadn't even played the game yet. And I said, Jimmy Butler ain't always got to get 30. Some nights he might score 15.
You hit that on the money, too.
He hit 40 in game 1. Every other game, it was close to like 15, 10, 17. I told y'all. And that boy Tyler Hero is playing like a vet.
Yeah.
He's 20, bro.
20.
He kept them alive in that game 4 that they lost.
Tyler Hero's a bucket.
He kept them alive.
Yeah.
He tried to get them out of there.
Boog like that though. He went to Kentucky.
Hey, I'm telling you.
Sorry, hey, we're gonna have you back on the show, Boog. We want to hear what you got to say.
We want you to defend yourself because you were so confident.
So confident.
So confident.
And we was right. That makes you wrong.
This is one of the few times I can allow Josh to be right and not be mad at it because we was on the same page.
Cause I'm. No,
you never what? You always what? I want to hear you say it. Going back a few weeks ago when we had Cam and AP, you remember AP was like, "Why is nobody saying Milwaukee is going to the finals?" Well, there you have it, because we saw this coming.
We saw this coming.
So shout out to my Heat, boy.
Yeah, and I think it just comes from, I saw Chuck was talking about it yesterday. They even from last year, they made it to the conference finals last year, right, against the Toronto.
Yeah.
He said from last year to this year, they didn't get better in any way. They was the same team. The defense may have improved, but it's still, defense can only take you so far. Offensively, it's just dribble, pass for Giannis.
Yeah.
Or if somebody else has the ball, they got to make their own play.
Yeah.
Not too many other players in that team can make their own shot.
Let's talk about how trash Bledsoe is. Get him out of there. Y'all paid Bledsoe instead of Eric Brogdon. Eric was having a good year in Indiana.
Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah, Eric. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know why they got rid of Malcolm Brogdon.
And then you kept Eric Bledsoe.
He was good.
Eric Bledsoe has showed up to how many playoff series in the last 2 seasons?
You barely hear his name.
He doesn't do anything.
Yeah, he don't do much.
Eric Bledsoe he's on the trade market, I guarantee you.
I guess he was just a name for them. He was like, oh.
Yeah. He's a decent guard.
Ooh, a piece of candy.
Right.
And they got rid of Malcolm Brogdon, who
he's good,
really good.
That boy's a hooper.
50, 40, 90.
I think they need to look at getting rid of Budenholzer.
Yeah.
Apparently his job is safe.
But
he's a regular season coach. He showed that in Atlanta. He's showing it now. I'll get you the number 1 seed, but when it matters, I don't know what to do to get you out of there.
Yeah.
So
I think they need to look into. I thought this was his last chance, but I guess Giannis might have put a call in. Giannis might like. And this is another thing I was gonna say. I think Giannis, because I know you guys are just talking about. I'm gonna kind of go back to it. I have a feeling that Giannis is cut from the cloth. That he's going to stay. He might pull a Dame with Portland.
Oh, so he'll be stupid and waste the prime years of his career to continue to get more money, but not actually compete.
You can always.
I mean, I would hope that he wants to do both, because you can go get paid and
with both Dame and Giannis, you can always pass your prime, sign up for a super team.
What fun is that when you can do it in your prime? Yeah, I can take slightly less money, but I already make
my thing
crazy
is,
amounts
it's
of
not
money.
always about. I mean, you want to win, but sometimes a win joining somebody else to win is not the same for them. It's not. They want to win it by themselves, or not by themselves. They want to win it from the team that they started with, like Jordan did.
It's not going to happen there.
Like
so
Magic,
for his sake, I really
like
hope
Larry
that he's
Bird,
not like that. They had better situations.
It's only been
in that case, it makes sense to do that.
And the only reason players are doing it so much is because we put shine so much light on LeBron needing to win a couple chips in order for him to catch Jordan. So he had to leave Cleveland in order to get a couple rings.
Listen to the comparisons we're throwing out there. You threw out Magic and Bird, who were on two of the greatest franchises historically, and they had better surrounding talent. LeBron in Cleveland. Nobody is joining LeBron in Cleveland. Nobody's going to Portland with Dame. Nobody's going to come to Milwaukee with Giannis. Yeah. It's not the same. You're in small market franchises that have failed to build around you. You're not going anywhere.
They didn't fail, but it's not.
You have failed because you haven't put the talent around me to go somewhere.
Portland has not failed.
Their last good team had Wesley Matthews, LaMarcus Aldridge, Nick Batum.
Let me finish my thought. Portland has not failed. It's just the fact when you going up against the Warriors, this is a super team. What
about Anthony Davis
or the Lakers, who's now a super team, and going up against the Clippers, where everybody's
when they got swept by Anthony Davis and Jrue Holiday? What about that? And Rondo?
Who? Portland.
They're not going anywhere. Look, I'm not talking about Portland.
Might have done shit.
We're not, because we talked about this in our group
chat last week. This has been Portland's team. This has been Portland's team in a long time. Best team in a long time. Now they got Nurkic, they got Melo now, they got Dame and CJ, who are both in their prime.
It hasn't gone anywhere.
So look, but it's not stupid. But because if they there's a chance that they can win. They can get the right pieces. Right now, that Milwaukee just doesn't have the right pieces. It's not working. They need somebody. They got to bring somebody to those teams. Same with the Portland. They got it. I think Portland. Like I said,
they're in Milwaukee. They're not gonna get anybody. Nobody wants to go there. Nobody's gonna want to go to a Portland. I'm sorry. You can have all the talent and potential you want. Nobody's going to join you to take you over.
You can build your team. A la 2015 Warriors.
Moving on, because the only reason I was talking about...
And they built the team so good that they attracted KD.
The only reason... Because KD wasn't one of those people built like the way you think Giannis and Dame are.
That's
the only reason they got him. Look, the only reason I brought up Budenholzer is because there's a lot of coaching vacancies right now, and there could be more in the offseason. And just piggybacking off of our earlier question of the day and our discussion last week about coaching, which was also a question of the day, there's a lot of openings. Right now there's 5. The Thunder and Billy Donovan just mutually agreed to just cut it. Which I'm kind of surprised. First of all, I'm surprised he made it this long. As a Thunder fan, I wanted that man out of there a while ago.
Billy Donovan, yeah.
But then he actually did really well for them this year, so I'm surprised he's out. But so the Thunder have an opening spot. The Bulls got rid of Jim Boylan earlier this year, so that's open. The Pacers, who I didn't really realize until like today, are looking for a new coach. I thought
they got rid of
Nate McMillan.
Nate McMillan for
I thought they were gonna hold on to him. So I was surprised.
He's doing a good job.
Who else we got? I remember. I'm not gonna look at the list because I had it in my head. I'm gonna look. The 76ers is the one I always want to forget because they did get rid of Brett Brown, which was probably the smartest thing they could have done.
Yep.
You'd think the smartest thing would probably be get rid of Joel. I still disagree, but they got rid of Brett Brown, which is about time. And then of course the Pelicans have an opening.
Yeah.
My thing about these spots, right?
Why can't I say Rick Pitino? Why? What?
finna take his commentary privileges away.
For real.
Rick
Rick
Pitino.
Pitino, of all people.
I mean, I'll give him credit
won't.
for just throwing out that name. Cause,
I mean, it's a good name, but
no.
Rick Pitino, he tried. He had his shot in the NBA.
I think we'd see Coach K or Calipari come to the league before Rick Pitino.
No, that's not.
Nobody.
That's like you saying
Somebody.
That's like Pop going to.
But I'm saying somebody would throw them an offer before Rick Pitino.
No, because
I don't think Rick.
I don't agree with that. I think Rick Pitino has a better shot at coming back to the NBA because he's not playing. He's not coaching anybody right now.
That's right.
He just got picked up on a college team.
Okay.
Oh.
He got picked up.
I forgot he.
I think I do remember.
I forgot all about that. That shows my disconnect with
Mount says Mark Jackson and Stan Van Gundy.
This is why he's getting on the show, because this is where I was going. Right. Well, first of all, we talked about black coaches that deserve an opportunity.
Yeah.
Like I said with Mark, I don't feel like it would happen, but I'd like to see a team like the Pelicans or the Bulls give Mark Jackson a look. They're young teams.
That's
He's
the
shown what he
teams
can
that
do with
he
development
needs.
teams.
Yeah.
He needs the young guys. He doesn't need the.
Guys.
To me, I feel like that's what will help him shine the most. Those young developing teams, because you'll get to see how he changes that culture and gets them over the hump.
Mm-hmm.
You give him an already thrown together, established team. I feel like that just brings him more scrutiny. He's already been blackballed for 5-6 years. Give him the opportunity to actually build something.
Yep.
You got Chauncey Billups, who apparently there's some mutual interest with the Pacers and him.
That would be interesting.
This is all apparent because nobody really know.
I would like to see Chauncey get a job. I would like to see Mark Jackson get a job, even though I know he's not. Probably not. He's probably not gonna get a job ever.
Unfortunate truth.
In the NBA.
Yeah.
They need somebody like if I was the owner of a team, I would probably take on the flack and just hire him if I want a good team. Because I seen what he did to Golden State, who before really Mark Jackson was franchise wise wasn't that great of a franchise. Now
my mom actually the other day was like, I can't even think of nobody that really was on the Warriors.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, they've had some decent runs here and there, like when they had Baron Davis and Steven Jackson, Matt Barnes.
Yeah.
But just in general, like the Warriors were never really that great of a franchise.
They weren't, and
he helped
from
that change
now they're a top 5 or top 5 NBA valued franchise.
Yeah, for sure.
And in a lot of ways, it's on Steph, obviously, but Mark Jackson is kind of the one that Steph credits for building that culture.
Yeah, I think it's a risk versus reward thing.
State.
What could you really lose by hiring him? You have a lot to gain, especially if you're a team like not Milwaukee. Y'all can use somebody anyway. But if you're a team like Chicago, if you're a team like New Orleans, you don't have nothing to lose anyway. Y'all not really that good.
I think
you
New
might
Orleans
as well
would be really good.
You know what I'm saying?
Landing location for Mark Jackson.
So I'd like to see that.
He said Stan Van Gundy too. Stan Van Gundy's good. I think it's just past.
I don't think either of the Van Gundys are really going to get a legitimate shot anytime soon.
Yeah.
Stan,
he was good though in Orlando. I like Stan Van Gundy.
But he just had that stint with the Pistons recently, and it just didn't work out that well.
But it is the Pistons.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
They don't have nobody. And you know what I want to say about this? Like, what's up with this hiring a coach for 2 or 3 years and then firing him, and then not giving him any pieces for real? So you give him this, and you can almost say attribute this more so. This kind of goes to the whole black versus white coach too, because it always seems like it's the black coaches that get these jobs, a la Dave Fizdale in New York. He only get a year to a year and a half, or however long he got.
That's exactly what I said last week. You give the black coach a job,
they don't
take it away real quick, and he never gets another shot.
And they don't give him any pieces.
Yeah.
And even so with the Fizdale thing, they expected that team to be a playoff team.
And certain things I can see that you.
I understand the team sucked, but it's because the players that you're giving me is only so much I can do.
This team is bad anyway.
I'm not Jesus.
But there were certain things like Fizdale wasn't really playing Kevin Knox like that, and Kevin Knox actually is a talented player. So certain things I can see you being upset with his coaching style about. But as far as our overall failure as a franchise, don't blame me. Blame the fact that y'all signed 7 power forwards every summer.
Right.
Blame the fact that y'all don't ever get no
started with the Knicks.
You know what I'm saying?
Let's not get it started. And then Mountain saying ownership played him in Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, they played.
He's still a good coach, and that's what I'm pointing at. It's like these owners.
Alvin over.
Yeah, and I mean, my thing is Alvin should have kept his job. I thought he was doing a good job.
He was doing just fine to me.
But it's like they have unrealistic expectations with the players that they give to these coaches and expect them to work miracles. Like, no, I'm a head coach. I need a decent amount of players. And yeah, you saying Kevin Knox is okay. I mean, he's a good.
I mean, either way,
the talent, but he's still only like 21 years old.
The Knicks were a shit show. Let's be realistic. But I'm saying stuff like Kevin Knox the year before he got there, people were like, "Oh, okay, he's actually pretty damn good." Then Fizdale got there and didn't play him as much as a lot of people felt like he should have. That wasn't his only mistake, but I know a lot of people rumbled about that. But to me, to just be like, you know what, never mind, forget it. I said it last week, I'll say it again. You hired him simply to save face. You knew people would enjoy that. You were like, you know what, let's hire him. But you never had any intention of giving him a real shot.
Yeah, so I'm more so like, we need to stop. They need to stop hiring and firing these coaches.
If you're going to give them a job, let them have the job.
Let them have
build
at least, I say like at least 3 to 5 years. And by that third year, if they haven't showed any kind of improvement.
At that point.
Okay, I understand. But I think it should really be 5 years. And I say 5 years simply because between that time, you have like a NBA player doesn't really know how good he will be in the NBA until about his third or fourth year.
Yeah.
So he gets those rookies, introduces them, and gets to take them under his wing. You always have your OGs or whatever on the team. He at least gets those rookies for 4 or 5 years. That gives them a chance to at least develop them and get to learn them a little bit. I think as an owner, I would at least give them some time. And I know it's always money talks. They're just trying to get the hot guy or whatever as soon as they can. But it's like there's only so many hot guys, head coaches, candidates that you can get before you get right back to Mike D'Antoni.
And I hate to
only so many
I hate to use the term short leash since we're referring to grown men, but these organizations, they keep these people on a short leash. Like Lamont bought out Luke Walton. Luke Walton really wasn't that bad to me as the Lakers coach. He did make some mistakes. He made some mistakes. But you didn't really give him a shot, especially once LeBron came. You were like, yeah, never mind. You know what I'm saying? You sent him out. He went to Sacramento. Sacramento's a bad franchise, but they're allowing him some time.
They are. They're good.
Or
this is the second season with them?
You look at like Billy Donovan. The only reason I think his contract lasted
but that was
is because he had superstars on his team to cover up the fact that he wasn't that great.
Well, no, but they still gave him a shot. And they did. Even with the team that he had, where nobody thought they was going to do it, he was a Coach of the Year candidate.
But that's what I'm saying. When you have good teams, for whatever reason, it seems that they'll sometimes let you get away with it and leave you hanging around a little long. When you got a bad team that you weren't going to be good regardless of...
It's like that. That's when you have the shortest leash.
Pat Riley could come out of retirement and coach. Or Phil Jackson, they still wouldn't go nowhere. And they cut you 30 games into the season. Like, what was I really supposed to do with this? Yeah, there's a bunch of 19-year-olds that don't know any fundamentals.
Right.
They're not very good yet. They still don't know their potential.
I honestly think Billy Donovan did such a good job this year that it almost gave him a chance to get rehired.
The Bulls are looking at him
for already. Next year. So Billy Donovan this year kind of proved to me that he's a pretty good coach with the team that he had and what they did. Even with Chris Paul. Chris Paul was the only superstar that we could be like, yeah, he's a superstar on that team. He still did a good job with that mixture, with everybody basically counting him out this year. He got himself another job with that.
My thing that I always said to Adrian, because we used to talk about it, because Adrian wasn't a fan of Billy Donovan as a coach either. I felt like, and it's the same thing I said about he didn't have Harden.
He didn't have Harden.
That was still Scott Brooks.
Yeah.
But the same thing I said about Nash last week is that due to the players on his team, he's already going to have some good success as the head coach. Because you got Kyrie and KD.
Right.
So I felt like Billy Donovan maybe wasn't always that great of a coach, but when you got Westbrook and KD, or you got Melo, Paul George, and Westbrook, of course you're going to still be good.
Yeah.
But this year, like you said, really gave him the opportunity to show that he actually is a decent coach. Because before that point, a lot of people were like, is it just because you got the talent? Right. Some of the X's and O's ain't there.
Right.
And the Bulls already want to get him.
Yeah, like you said, to that point, this season, even though you didn't like him as a coach the first couple seasons, now you're seeing him as he's actually he's a damn good coach.
I took back a little bit of my slander. I'm not gonna lie.
And so that's what I'm saying.
But nobody else has gotten that opportunity.
Because the coaches got to learn too. So if you give him a little bit of a longer leash, it took him 5 or 6. I think it was a 5-year contract. Yeah. Give him 5 years. That give him a chance for him to grow.
Yeah.
And this is an entire new body of players, and he's still able to make some with it. And it gives him a chance to do well and listen to their input on the players that they want. Don't just give them a bunch of BS players and just you got to make it work with this player.
So anyway, I'd like to see Chauncey maybe get a shot. He's been rumored for head
I like to
coaching.
see Chauncey. I almost like
Head
to see
coaching
Chauncey
and front office
or
position.
GM.
Yeah.
Because I would like to see Chauncey in Denver. Because, that's where he's from.
Yeah.
Because, they got Mike Malone, and I don't think they're going to do nothing with that.
Put him in the front office.
They may be. With Michael Porter Jr. questioning Mike.
Anyway. This offseason, Michael Porter Jr.
Michael Porter Jr. is,
traded.
Probably a potential top player in the NBA in the future.
For sure.
Yeah, so
people was mad at it because of the way he handled it. But was he wrong?
He's gonna have a lot of say so here pretty soon.
So that actually was kind of petty though. How quick he was like, no, it's just because I didn't touch the ball. So you know what time it is. Then.
What time is it, sir? What time is it?
It's time for my favorite part of the show.
Favorite part of the week.
Favorite part of the week, for real. Petty Betty.
Petty Betty of the week.
This week's Petty Betty. Speaking of the Nuggets. Speaking of Mike Malone. They playing the Clippers. The Clippers have slowly turned themselves into the most hated team in the NBA, I believe. Just for the bubble.
What?
Just for the bubble. Just because the only likable people for most people are Kawhi and Lou Williams. Paul George talks a lot of stuff and then no shows games, so people don't like that. Montrez, people are, off and on about him. They have Patrick Beverly. Nobody likes Patrick Beverly. And then you got
I don't like when he's playing against my team.
Marcus Morris, who's trying to decapitate basketball's favorite white boy. And so,
that wasn't Marcus Morris' fault. But that's another story. Go ahead.
I will defend that white man to the death. No, so they have a couple unlikable players, and they talk a lot of stuff for a team that has never done anything historically.
And you meant not Lou Will, you meant Lemon Pepper Lou.
Yeah, he coined that term.
Yeah.
He coined that. That was smart.
Yeah.
If people gonna keep throwing it out there, get some money off of it. So yeah, just in between all the things they've been saying and doing, and like laughing at Dame and stuff when he missed them free throws, people are starting to hate. They've become the hated team of the bubble.
Right.
So the other night, Patrick Beverly says, in regards to guarding Nikola Jokic, he does a lot of flailing. He presents the same problems that Luka presents for defense. A lot of flailing, which first and foremost is cap.
That's not cap.
No, because for that game that they were referring to, he shot less free throws. The Nuggets shot less free throws as a team than the Clippers
like 16.
did. It was a pretty
That's not cap.
differential.
They do the same thing though.
Everybody flails.
In that way, it's cap.
Definitely does.
In that way, it's cap.
For that particular game.
But overall, it's not cap.
And then to make it seem like it's just because he flailing, he's dropping buckets on you. And you didn't even guard Luka, so how would you know? You didn't play that game. You don't really get to talk. But anyway, he made it seem like it was about flailing, whatever. Jokic was like, what's flailing? Mind you, English ain't his first language. What does that mean? And they were like, throwing yourself about.
Oh, did he say
the
that
foul call?
I didn't.
He was like, they shot more free throws than us, so what is he talking about?
That's a good comeback.
And that was just kind of it.
That's a good comeback.
And then Mike Malone was like, here's where we get petty. I don't really pay attention to what Patrick Beverly has to say. If it was Kawhi Leonard, I'd probably listen to it.
That's pretty
I like
smart.
Kawhi, but I don't really pay much attention to Patrick Beverly.
That's a good comeback.
And I like how you just shut him down. Because the internet hates
comeback.
Patrick Beverly.
Yeah.
The internet is always like, Patrick is a nobody. Woo, woo, woo. Why do you care? So it was kind of nice to see Mike Malone be like, I don't really put too much stock
That's fair, and he's probably being very honest too. That was
He's
a good,
not
that was
wrong.
a, that was
Who
a good
cares what Patrick Beverly has to say?
petty comment. Yeah.
It was a classy way he did it. He was
Yeah.
like, I don't really care. It's Patrick Beverly.
Yeah.
So shout out to Mike Malone.
Yeah, that was a good petty moment for you, Mike Malone.
Check him a little bit. Make him understand that don't nobody care what you got to say. Ain't nobody come to see you, Otis.
Yeah, but Pat Bev definitely should have deserved to be in the all-defensive second team.
Dude, that's what we forgot to talk about.
Yeah. I mean,
Patrick Beverly.
We could speak on it.
No, I mean, what you want to do? If you want to speak on it, speak. Or you want to shout about it. Because you know what time it is.
It's time for speaking of shout. But all I'm going to say real quick, like I put my 2 cents in. You got to rebuttal. So, it's that time. Time to wrap it up when we always like to do it. Well, a little, speak session. We like to say whatever we got. Get what we got off our chest.
True,
Okay?
true.
So, I like to ask my buddy to the left of me, Rev, are you speaking or are you shouting?
Well, to be quite frank, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'm gonna hit the reverse button. I'm gonna let you go first because I really gotta think about it. The same way you had to just throw that question today off, I'm gonna have to throw something off about speaking and shouting. So you gotta give me a second to think. So I'm gonna ask you, fella, are you speaking or are you shouting? What you gonna do this week, man? Loosen up. Tell the people at home.
You ready?
America, listen up. Listen up.
You ready?
Okay, Ali. Don't bring no BS like you did last week.
I know.
Last week, you're speaking
I
of
know what I'm
shopping.
talking about.
Life can be hard.
It's that time of the year, baby. NFL season is back, and I got 4 fantasy football teams this year. 4. You heard that right. 4 of them things. Got the championship last year. I won me $500 last year.
You ain't saying nothing.
$500. Oh, that money was going quick, boy. I ain't never seen $500.
Went to the boat real quick.
Went to the boat real quick. No. Actually, yeah, I did. I did actually go to the boat.
Lady at the casino.
That time of
Go
year,
ahead.
I got my 4 fantasy teams.
Mm-hmm.
Probably gonna turn on the football game as soon as we cut this off. You know what I'm
Cam
saying?
said you're going to lose all 4.
I ain't gonna lose all 4. You know, I'll take a 25% win. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna win at least one of them. Did my little drafts all last week, man. I have a plethora of drafts. You know what I'm saying?
Bountiful.
Bountiful.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? All my teams looking good. I got Kyler Murray in a couple of them. You know what I'm saying? Christian McCaffrey in one. Got the first overall pick. Gotta get Christian. So yeah, man. Everybody, let me know what y'all fantasy teams doing. I'm gonna let y'all know. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on the speaking or shouting segment.
Okay.
You know, cause I'm gonna want y'all to be informed on how well I'm doing, not how bad. I'm gonna be doing well in all of them. I plan on making the playoffs. It's really, at this point, it's not hard for me to make the playoffs. And then once I get to the playoffs, it's like, you have a couple bad performances by a couple players. You know what I'm saying? We gotta talk to them. So it's not really a matter of if I make the playoffs. It's just a matter of if they do good in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So, fantasy football team, I'm shouting about that because I'm ready. I'm hyped. Football is here. This is a basketball podcast, but on the side, I dibble-dabble a little football, fantasy sports management.
If you were day one, you know back in the day we used to cover it all.
We used to cover it all, and it would be 2-hour episodes. We had to stop that.
Yeah, we had to cut it out. Especially because we had like 3-4 guests, I feel like sometimes 2-3
we
guests.
asked each and every
It would
guest
just be too
about
much,
each and every
too much
topic.
going on. Yeah.
So we had to cut it down
Okay.
to the just basketball. And Mount talking about QB sitting in the bed right now.
And you ain't say Sydney.
Oh.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah, shit. Okay.
Yikes.
What's the score? What's the score of the game? I'm gonna
Give us
find
an
out.
update. Give us an update, cuz
But yeah, that's what I'm speaking about, man. Fantasy football. Like I said, I'm gonna keep y'all updated. I plan on being a playoff team in all 4 of them, so I'm gonna let y'all know. But that's all I gotta
respect
say.
it.
All I gotta say about it. Was you able to figure out what you had to talk about in this
You know, and
time?
I think I know what I want to shout about.
All right, so are you speaking or are you shouting?
I'm gonna shout. Throw your hands up one time and shout. We need buttons.
7-24 Chiefs. God.
Who they playing again? They playing
The Texans. Deshaun Watson ain't doing so good, huh? Yikes.
It's a little rust. It's a little-
Yikes. All that money they gave him. I mean, they took away his best weapon. It didn't make no sense to me.
True. Look, what I'm gonna shout about, right? Unlike you, I don't always claim to be right. But when I'm right, I'm right. You know what I'm saying? So first of all, I told a lot of people. I told people the Heat was gonna do well this year. I told them they're gonna beat Milwaukee in 5. What they do? They beat them in 5.
Beat him about.
I said this Raptors-Celtics series gonna go 6 or 7. Raptors may win in 7. That's yet to be determined. But so far, if you recall, last week he told me that series was over.
But
He
I
said
also
it was
said,
over.
no, I started off
Originally,
saying,
he said 6 or 7 with
but
me.
once they
but
went
he
up
picked the
2-0, I thought it
Celtics.
was over.
But we hit that 2-0 mark. He was like, "Oh, it's over."
So
I
I'm
said,
going
"No,
back
it
to
ain't."
my original pick.
I said, "No, it ain't." Raptors in 6 or 7. And look at it. We getting there. J-Lock tried to tell me that the Lakers was gonna sweep my Rockets. I knew they was gonna beat them, but they ain't gonna sweep them.
Gentlemen sweep the same thing.
Hey, 4-1 is better than 4-0. Okay, I'll take it because I knew we was gonna lose anyway. But I said I guarantee the Rockets gonna win game 1 or 2.
I didn't think they was going to lose.
Guarantee. And he put up 20 on it. Lakers sweep. I said I bet money 1 or 2.
Go
Game
ahead.
1 or game 2.
Toot
What
your-
they do game 1?
Toot your own horn
What
a
they
little
do
bit.
game 1?
Let them know. Let them know.
As soon as they won, I said, I told you. The words that I'm gonna say. You see the trash can? That was J-Lock's prediction. The words that I want to say, I ain't gonna say it to you, America, but I had to let him know about himself. I had to let him know. Very next day, what'd he do? Send me that little dub. So I told him. He had to slide me that little 20 in my Cash App, $sign Mero sign. So, I was right about that. My fault.
You good?
that's 3 of them that I was right. What I say? I said the Nuggets was gonna beat Denver. It took them a long.
The Nuggets gonna beat Denver.
You right. The Nuggets was gonna beat Utah. It took a little longer than I thought, but I was right. So everything that I put a number on
You've
so
been doing
far,
pretty good this year.
you know what I'm saying?
Check you out. I give you some props.
I said the Mavs was gonna go 6. A lot of people was like, man, Clippers. I said nah, cause I know Paul George in the playoffs. He ain't built like that.
You was right
He
about
ain't built like
that.
that. The Mavs took it to 6.
He is now though.
Yeah, it's the first round for him. The first round is
But,
where he likes to sell, and then after that, he likes to pick it up, apparently.
We might have to throw in an extra episode. I want to talk about this conference final series, maybe before they start.
Whenever the Rockets get over the hump, they're going to get back in it.
Set.
Listen, the NBA is conspiring against the Rockets because of Daryl Morey's comments on China.
All right,
also,
time to wrap it up.
they
All
want the
right, we're
Clippers
good.
and the Lakers to play each other, I swear.
We're good.
But no, that's what I'm talking about. So far, I've been right.
You have been good.
I've been on the money
You've
this
been
year.
keeping good track of it. You know,
Hey,
you're doing pretty
you know,
good.
give me my props, boy. And I've been getting A's every week because of the day. I'm feeling good. Boy.
Yeah, but that's
doing
gonna
good.
wrap it up for us here. Appreciate everybody.
Hey, chill out. Talking about they 3-1. I said they was gonna lose. I just said they wasn't gonna get swept.
Comment section was busting today. Appreciate everybody for coming out. Cousin Mount,
we love it.
Jalen. Saw you in there. Appreciate you. But thank y'all. And that's gonna wrap it up. We'll be back next Thursday. By that time, it'll be conference finals.
By that time, the Rockets will look. All right, look, no, but for real,
Probably.
Jalen, I hope you're ready to be salty next week when we talk about how the Raptors beat your Celtics. So please do come back, Lamont. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Daria, get out the chat. I'm sick of hearing you, and also seeing your face from across the table. But thanks to everybody for showing up. Ferg, thanks for the compliments on the shirt. Appreciate it. Everybody, y'all have a good one, man. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Shout out to the last of your audience too.
Yeah.